So I'll be reading from day 9 from my non-drinking journal. When I was trying to stay strong, I was writing down my feelings and, just analyzing how I felt. I haven't looked at it in a year, so now I'm coming back and making videos about them. On this day, my daughters were going to be marching in a Christmas Day parade. So I wrote that it was a busy day. It's always a busy day when you're running around with the family, trying to get ready and do stuff. And I wrote that I remember drinking at this parade before. Now, we've been to many of these parades. They've been in, a handful of these. So I wrote that I remember drinking, having those little shooters in your pocket. They're easy to drink. They're, being inconspicuous, drinking them. And I wrote that, just reminiscing back as I'm writing it, and that I felt great. And it feels good to be able to drive my car. I don't drink and drive. So if I have any more than one beer, if I have one beer, I'm good. If I have anything more, I would never drive. And it made life very difficult for my family, because if my daughters wanted to be picked up from a friend's house or taken somewheres, or my wife, had to get an ingredient for dinner, she's in the middle of cooking dinner and she ran out of something, or whatever the situation. I can think of so many situations where I would say, hey, I'm on my second beer, or I've already had a couple of drinks. I can't go out because I'm not drinking and driving. So, it was a burden to the whole family, besides myself, besides it being annoying that, I can't go anywhere. Once I start drinking, I'm kind of stuck to my wife taking me somewheres, or, going out, and I can't help out with the family. So with the parade, I would have to go with them. Now they have to go much earlier than me and get set up and, find their spots with the float and all that. So I would have to go there and then hang out in the cold while, they're getting ready. And I'm sitting there for such longer period of time. Obviously, now that I don't drink, I can drive, a little later, let them, go ahead, and I can wait another half hour where I'm not sitting in the cold. So there's so many bonuses to this, but since I knew I was going to be drinking, clearly I'm not going to drive. And then, I'm sitting around with shooters just in my pocket, and, just, I don't know. At that point, it wasn't that bad. It was my normal routine. But to think about now, it's like, man, like, what was I doing? What was I thinking? Doing that kind of stuff. But I just wrote that I was very happy that I didn't have to worry about those type of situations. I didn't have to alter my life and go through this huge, thinking event. How am I going to do it? How am I going to set it up? Oh, I got to go with them. I have to sneak and drink this stuff so, I don't get caught, and all these things. And if you drink, you know what I'm talking about. Your day revolves around it. Everything revolves around it. You use so much energy and so much thinking and so much planning just to do something simple like this. My life's so much easier and so much simpler now. And my mind is so clear that I don't have to think about alcohol. I never think about alcohol anymore. The only time I think about it is when I'm making these videos, honestly. When I go out and there's multiple people drinking, when I'm around, every now and then, I just might be like, wow, like, I don't know. Can't say I missed it, but if you know the feelings. Sometimes I'm even though I'm going strong, sometimes I still get that little whatever. But hey, temptations, that's life. Well, you have a great night.